All right, so despite what many would want, especially if you look at a lot of my recent content and more importantly, my recent comments, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just acknowledging, hey, you know what? I may be a YouTuber. And we're going to talk about it today. I'm yours truly, Dr. Barry, and I'm going to be talking about how I got to this realization that yes, I'm a physician. Yes, I take care of patients, but I'm actually a content creator, especially in the healthcare space. And I think it's important because if you don't acknowledge it, you don't accept it, and you don't take the responsibility. And one thing that, my parents always taught me is to take responsibility. So today, we're going to be talking about how I came to the realization on a long car ride that I am a YouTuber, right? Which, if you would have asked me and I'll let's break. I won't go back too far. If you would have asked me during medical school, hey, are you gonna be a YouTuber? Is that gonna be your life? Is that the direction you're going to? I'd been like, you're crazy. I'm here to take care of patients. Like, what is YouTube? Like, why would I even think about that? So that's what I would have told you. Fast forward to today, year 2023. Yeah, like I don't think things really run until I present to YouTube, right? So obviously, if you're watching this on my YouTube, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like the page. If you're listening to it on a podcast and you got a YouTube page or you got a Gmail account, go to the link in the bio or link in the description. Subscribe to the YouTube page. We'll love to see you here because this is where it all starts. Again, I had to. It took a long car ride for me to acknowledge. All right, this is where I'm at in the point of my life where I'm officially a YouTuber, and I have to acknowledge it, and I have to kind of acquiesce to the YouTube ways, especially in my life as a content creator. So I kind of hinted at my medical school time frame, right? So that's when I gone on this whole social media sphere and say, hey, you know what? I want to do something a little bit different. For those who've been following me since Dr. Pierre's blog, when it was just drpierresblog.com, oh man, I love you. I appreciate you. I apologize that you had to read some of the stuff that I used to put on there. It wasn't like salacious or anything, but it was just bad writing. Like I read something the other day and I was like, delete, delete, delete. It was just terrible writing. I would just kind of freestyling my thoughts. I'd have a good day in school. I'd talk about it. I'd have a good day in a rotation. I'd talk about it. Much different than what kind of goes on now. If you're listening to this year now, it makes sense that I would talk about, my rotation. It makes sense but back then when I was doing it, which again wasn't really long ago, we're talking about 2007, 2008. So it wasn't a long time ago when I was really on, social media, when I used to have to sit in the, I'd call it the principal's office, but our dean's office every semester to say, hey, you know what HIPAA is? Don't do this, don't do that, don't put patient information, especially when I went out to the outpatient ambulatory practice as a third year. They stressed it because obviously no one wants a HIPAA violation. No one wants a HIPAA violation. I can assure you that. So here I was saying, I want to, again, just get on social media. And I had some thoughts that I want to get out. And then you kind of fast forward to the point where the thoughts are picking up. People are actually reading it. And I knew people were reading it because when I was in residency one time, I wrote about this experience about me and one of my medical students and how they witnessed their first death. Now, I was a resident, so I had witnessed death before, but for a medical student, it was their first time. And I gave the point of view of, hey, look, you've been there, you've done that, so you're acting like death isn't anything, but here this student can't even move from their position. When I tell you, like, a week went by and my senior residents were already like, hey, what's going on with that student? Tell me about that student. We read your blog. Like, mind you, the whole time, they never even mentioned that they read it. Like, this is how they do. They don't mention that they're reading anything, but they keep track of it just in case I say something crazy, right? So thankfully, I wasn't saying anything crazy, but because they were concerned for the medical student, they reached out to me, say, hey, who is a medical student? Let's reach out to them. Let's kind of, let's put a warm hug around them. And that's what I knew how powerful social media was. So then I got out of residency, doing my outpatient practice, taking care of my patients. I loved it. But I realized very quickly, and I think my public health degree is to blame. I think it's to blame. I'll say that. I realized very quickly that I can't just be talking to one person. Like, I can't tell this person in front of me, hey, your blood pressure is an issue, your diabetes is an issue, your cholesterol is an issue. Because if it felt like, all right, yeah, but like they may understand it, but what about the 10 other people and their family members who may not understand? So that's when I got out and I started doing my social media thing called the Lunch and Learn with Dr. Barry. Again, we're going through a little history lesson to get to the present, right? We got to go through history to get to the present. Started a Lunch and Learn with Dr. Barry. That was every Tuesday, every Thursday, 12 to 1, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I missed lunch. I wouldn't even eat lunch. And I would just educate. And again, it was one of those things where I didn't realize people were watching it. I didn't think nothing of it until people who were coming to my office as new patients said, hey, I saw your video on blank. I loved it, and I knew you were going to be my doctor. So now it clicked. I said, wow, you know what? The video recordings, and I'll post, especially my YouTuber, like I'll make sure we have a couple of these recordings popping up next to me as I speak. Here I go. I'm talking about diabetes. I didn't even think about it. Next thing you know, a new patient who has never seen me says, you know what? You have a great smile, great attitude. I knew you would be my doctor. So all of a sudden, it worked. All of a sudden, like, oh, wow. So I guess I am not just talking to myself. Now I have potential patients who had no clue who I was, but I guess their insurance company said, hey, you know what? Dr. Barry Pierre is available. And they did their Googling. Something that I would encourage y'all to do right now, right? Well, after you watch this video, listen to this podcast, I would encourage you to go to your doctor, like figure out who your doctor's name is, if you have one, and then just Google and see what comes up. And it was very quickly that when you Googled a lot of physicians, especially in my community, Health Grades, Doximity, US Health News, Vitals, all of these grading and rating websites that are essentially there to make money off the fact that physicians don't have any contact information out there for them. So they put ads all over their websites. They make you click like 10 buttons before they give you their office number. All information that is readily available for free, but they've able to capitalize it because they recognize doctors don't do what they need to do. So I knew I was going down the right path. So we did the lunch alerts, and shout out to Stephen Francis, CEO of Melvin's Hugh. One day he said, and I don't know if he understood how important that phrase was going to be. He said, man, I like watching your videos, but I'm so busy, I don't really have time to sit and watch the video. Is it possible y'all can make like an audio version of it? Boom, light bulb hit. All of a sudden, Dr. Barry Pierre went from his Lunch and Learns Tuesdays and Thursdays to Dr. Barry Pierre is about to be a podcaster? What? What? Again, if you were to rewind in 2007 and ask me what a podcast is, I'd have no clue. But here I was, a chance encounter with a good friend of mine who said, hey, I would love to listen to it if it was an audio version. And that weekend, I said, I'm going to make a podcast. I realized, I found out what the name was. I bought somebody's course to get the steps on how to do it. Boom, I'm a podcaster. And this was in, wow, I want to say 2017, 2018 or something in that regards. It was a while. The reason why is because we're on, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but we're on like episode 312 or 313. We're on a high number. We're at 300 plus episodes. Think about that. 300 plus episodes. A lot of people don't even make it to episode 50. We bum rushed that, and 300 plus podcast episodes later, we are still giving you information. And then it clicked to me again. I said, hey, Barry, if you're going to do this podcasting thing, you got this thing called YouTube over here that's there. You might as well maybe throw your audio over there. Yeah, go ahead, throw your audio over that way. Oh, yeah, sure. So I would take my audio clips, make it like a video audiogram. Boom. Now here go YouTube. You've been asking for it. There you go. And then I'm starting to look around at the landscape, and I'm realizing like, wow, a lot of people have followed me from Dr. Pierre's blog. A lot of people have followed me from my Lunch and Learns with Dr. Barry. A lot of people say, hey, we'll listen to the podcast. But I was still kind of not out there like I needed to be. So I said, you know what? Maybe if we started just doing video recording of our podcast and we just take the audio. So all of a sudden now I was kind of going backwards. Before it was record the podcast episode and then put the video out on YouTube later, but it wasn't a video. It was just a recording of the audio and some fancy things that my graphic designer would do. It wasn't nothing special. But then I said, you know what? If I'm going to be, what they call a YouTuber, right? I got to record the episodes first to put it for the audio later. And then lo and behold, here we are, Medicine Mondays, right? So it's been such a funny journey, right? To see kind of where I started with when I was just writing blogs to doing my lunch and learns. Those are things I would just get out the way during my lunch, two days a week, to becoming a podcaster with 300 plus episodes, to now I'm an official YouTuber, right? And the reason why it hit me at this long car ride is I'm listening to Mr. Beast, right? I'm listening to an interview that he's doing. If you're on YouTube, you know who Mr. Beast is. In fact, I'll put a link up here on a video he did about getting people hearing aids, right? But we'll throw that up there for you. In fact, I'll probably do a video based off this video that's up here. So here I am, like I'm listening to this interview and he's saying that everyone should be a YouTuber. If you're a content creator, and I've heard that before, I've heard that term before. Dr. Pierre, are you a content creator? And I've had to accept it, right? Because it was one of the things where, no, I'm just a physician. I like educating my patients, but no, I'm a content creator. I had to internalize and accept the fact that, yes, I am a content creator. I am someone who makes content, obviously based off health and education. Sometimes I'll sprinkle in some business, but mainly just health and education. So I had to eat it, right? And I'm listening to Mr. Beast talk about how important it was for those who get on YouTube to take YouTube serious if they want to take the rest of their craft serious. And, I'm a physician, right? You're not going to challenge me and say I'm not taking my craft serious and doing this part-time. So this is why we got this episode today, because I had to say, hey, you know what? Mr. Beast is right. If Mr. Beast says I need to take this YouTube stuff serious, guess what? We are going to take this YouTube stuff serious, right? So we have obviously Medicine Mondays. If you're watching this live or you're watching this on day one or whatever you watch this, because the beauty of YouTube, I can drop a video now and someone might watch this in a year from now. It's going to be their first time watching me. I appreciate you for joining. But if you're watching this and you're picking up what I'm bringing, right? Hey, I got to accept that, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. Everything starts from YouTube, so I got to take it serious. So here I am. This is my promise to you. As we speak, right, I typically do a couple of things, especially here on the YouTube channel. I do my Medicine Mondays, and on Fridays, we release our live episode that we did off our live streaming the night before that we typically do on TikTok. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. Link will be in the description. We typically do that. But now I'm going to be doing YouTube dedicated work, right? And a thing that I like to do, I like to react to things, right? I like to acknowledge things are happening, right? So I'm going to be doing YouTube specific videos. I don't know what day I'm going to drop it. Maybe leave it in the comments what day I should drop it, because we already do something Monday. We already do something Friday. Wednesday sounds like a good day. You let me know. But I'm going to be doing YouTube related stuff where I'm just kind of looking at the YouTube sphere, answering questions from that YouTube perspective, specifically for my YouTube audience. So if you're listening to me on the podcast, you're not going to hear the episodes out that I do on Wednesdays. You're not going to hear it. You got to come to YouTube to get it, right? So I just want to throw that out there. I'm not going to do it. I know y'all begged and got the Real Physician Reacts episodes on the podcast on Fridays. I appreciate you for it, but I'm not going to add the third, right? Because I need y'all to have time to digest the episodes that we do for Medicine Mondays, right? Just like this one right here. So I'm excited about what's to come, especially as we move past the halfway mark. Y'all, we are in July, month 7. We're past halfway mark of 2023. Where has the year gone? I don't even know. I don't even know how is this year moving by so quickly? How are things moving by so quickly? My daughter's going to be in middle school this year. Like things are just moving every time you blink. It's something else new is happening. And of course, I had to, I got to be a part of that train, right? So this is what I can promise you for my YouTube family, right? Because I gotta acknowledge the YouTube family. And remember, if you have not had a chance, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube family, I am going to put as much effort as I did in our 300 plus podcast episodes as we do with the YouTube channel, right? We're going to talk about a lot of things. I think, especially because I got a lot of stuff to talk about on YouTube, right? I got a lot of different subject matters we could talk about specifically for YouTube, right? Obviously, I'm a big mentor, right? I love doing the mentor thing, right? I think we're going to have plenty of episodes where we talk to medical students, talk to medical residents, just talking about their journey, right? I think there's going to be a lot of episodes where I'm just kind of reacting to stuff that's either happening on YouTube or, if a YouTuber drops a video about something, I'm going to likely react to that. We're going to do a lot of great things here that I'm excited for. I hope you're excited for it. And again, when you're 300 plus episodes in on a podcast, sometimes it can be like, all right, I got to record a podcast real quick. You don't think much of it, but I can tell you, as I'm going on this long car ride and I'm talking to myself, because that's how I usually do it. I'm talking to myself. I'm accepting the fact that, hey, you know what? You really are a YouTuber, right? You got to eat that. You got to take it for what it's worth and then put the work in. Like I started getting excited again, like it was episode 0. So that's what I'm excited for you. I think next week, depending on when you watch this, right? Because this episode comes out. This is going to come out I think the 11th, I think. Yeah, I think, give me a second. I'll tell you exactly when this episode is going to pop. This episode is going to debut, I'm sorry, the 10th. So this episode is going to come out the 10th. By the 12th, expect a new episode or of the series. I don't know how we're going to do it, but expect that new episode to drop. In fact, what we'll do is we talked about Mr. Beast's hearing aid episode earlier in the show. I'm going to do a reaction to the hearing aid episode, which is very interesting because you would think like, hey, he's giving people hearing, it'd be all good, but it wasn't all good, right? And I'm going to talk about it, right? So I am yours truly. Again, I appreciate everyone, right, for your support since the Dr. Pierre blog days. You have been absolutely amazing. Make sure you know where to find me here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe.